Hello, Bobcat Nation. This is Superintendent Isom. First, please continue to follow the directed health measures. They're anticipating the peak in the coming weeks in our area. So be careful and take care of each other. There was 5 more reported cases within the Kimball County health system today. And so just everybody keep doing our part, social distancing, and let's try to get through this as best we can. Now, why are we here? The board passed a resolution on February 27th to pursue a bond to complete a building project. The resolution was sent to the election office and placed on the ballots. Some ballots went out yesterday in the mail, so I felt we needed to get information out. And we'll just have a discussion. We're going to have a presentation tonight. Again, email me questions, and I will get to those as I get them, and we'll put a Q&A. I'll respond to the individual with the email, and then I'll put a Q&A together and get it out on Facebook, on Remind, and as best we can. This whole process started last spring. The board teamed with BD Construction out of Kearney to serve as the construction manager. D.A. Davidson is serving as the bonding agent. Lee Davies Architect is the architect, has been working with the school for several years. He designed the red zone. I met with a community group last May to discuss the project. We shared plans and took information. We talked of a November 2019 election, but the feeling was that we did not need the additional expense with an election year around the corner. So we shot for May of 2020. Some of the things that I've had to ask, a final number did not come into play sooner because I did not say, here, this is the drawing, what will this cost? We kept looking and messing and changing things. An example is administration offices. In the beginning, I was adamant that Mary and I would stay put. Then the idea was floated to turn my office into dry storage for the kitchen, which is much needed. Mary's office can be a testing room or a teacher's lounge. The high school principal and secretary's present area will become the guidance office, so I take responsibility for allowed things to continue to change. When we started this project, the focus was getting out of the modulars and enlarging the present elementary classrooms. The second part was high school needs, room for our school within a school and medical training classes, the CNA, which I'm happy to report all 6 kids passed and are now licensed CNAs. These are presently held in the basement at the Catholic Church. Our K-12 art program needs a bigger room. The Spanish classes are holding the library hostage. The gym is part of the bigger picture. When you are doing a large project, while the construction people are here, the economy of the situation helps with the overall cost. Lee will cover more of the rooms on his part of the conversation. Some other things that have come up, why the gym, why the gymatorium? When Lee shows you the design, the focus is getting a regulation stage as well as more space. The extra stage will allow students to practice sooner so that students are getting home at a more practical hour. The new stage also has changing rooms and better staging area. We would continue to work with the fair, and when the need arises, like last summer during the pageant, we allow them to use it as needed during the fair and at any time for any matter. The gym space would help academics when hosting a home game where you have games that start at 1 or 2 p.m. in the afternoon. We have students leaving class at noon, 12:30 to participate. Our PE students miss out on many days for various reasons. This would help those students continue their education without the disruptions. The start times also create a hardship for families to come and support as they need to take time off. With the extra gym, games could start at 4:30, making the event better for everyone. Working with the Fair Board is something that has been going on at this district for a long time. The football field is leased from the Ag Society. The show barn, bus barn, the district is leased until 2065. Our buses have been traveling in and out of there since 2012. We will need to address the driveway here on the west side as we use it 10 months out of the year. The traffic pattern will increase with the entry to the west. We have approached the Ag Society about purchasing the land just to the north of the district. We have room to put this building, as we'll show you later, and so we have plenty of room, and we're able to accomplish the goal that we're trying to get at today. So With that, Lee Davies is here, and we'll share drawings and have a discussion on his portion.
Okay, the process when this started, we came up with really 3 different versions is what we narrowed it down to. There was an A, B, and a C. And C was actually a moon type of one, where it was everything in the world that everybody could ever think of. Working with the board, we were able to modify that and come up with the exact needs and requirements, and what and the administration felt like was probably the best for the school. So this is what we've come up with. To start with, this will be the new west entry as shown on the screen. This is an overall site plan of the area. Along this side is the driveway, a commons area addition, and then an activities center addition, which we'll look over here floor plan wise. This is an overall scheme of the whole situation. The colored areas would be all new. The white areas are all existing. To start with, I'll walk you through the building just generally as we go along. This would be the new west entry, which would house the commons area with a connection corridor back to the high school corridor. This would house new science rooms with teacher work areas, new classrooms, and the enlarged art room that I believe is for K through 12. Moving on down the corridor, we've got restrooms kind of centrally located that could be used for throughout the school year and day. First floor elementary addition would then come into play with the corridor with 2 new enlarged kindergarten rooms, 2 new first grade rooms, all in the new addition, along with elevator and mechanical room. This would connect in not only through the west entrance of the current administration, but also the east entrance of the administration corridor. Going up the stairs, these would be a second set of stairs, which currently the only second set of stairs out of the upstairs of the elementary is an exterior set of metal treads leading for a fire escape. So this would be your second set of stairs coming up, going up to the second floor. Upon reaching the second floor, we would have an expanded library up here. Then we would have 6th grade classrooms, 5th grade classrooms. These classrooms are sized a little bit bigger than the current modular classrooms. which are around 900 square feet. The elevator would come into play right here off the corridor. The corridor would then extend on into the existing renovated area, which within the renovated area existing, we would take the current 2 classrooms that are right here and make 1 classroom out of it, and the 2 current classrooms that are in the south or the southeast corner and make 1 classroom out of it for 4th grade, bringing those classrooms up to comparable size of the new classrooms. Towards the end of the hallway, we would have third grade classrooms that would be enlarged by removing the workroom right here and creating 2 new classrooms. Going down the stairs, here again, we'll have the 2nd grade classroom and a 2nd grade classroom that was basically made out of 4 classrooms turned into 2 classrooms. And the preschool would be right here at the front of the building. Current connection obviously is through into this area, but also can connect back into the addition right here, allowing a connection to the existing gymnasium so that it is all currently being able to stay within the building to connect to the existing gym. Heading back down this hallway, we get to the activities center that encompasses the gymnasium, the stage, changing rooms, weight room, and multi-purpose / wrestling room. The administration would be right at the front entry so that security could be checked there, which would house the principal's office, the SPED director's office, financial office, and superintendent's office, all connected to a shared conference work area room. The gymatorium, as shown in this screen, is set up for play to where you would have bleachers on both sides. The bleachers are set back far enough to where the athletes could sit on the court and the patrons coming to games would walk behind them to get to the bleachers. And they would not have to walk near the court, with ample end room at both ends of the court for basketball. The stage at the end has multiple access points from both the corridor, the corner of the gym, with this one being an ADA ramp so that everybody could have fully accessible stage. The stage is also accessible from the gymatorium area by stairs right at the front of the stage, typical to most auditoriums. Right off the stage area are the changing rooms that not only could be changing rooms for any participation during stage, but visiting locker rooms for visiting teams. The current lockers in the existing gym would be the lockers that would be used for the Hemingford athletes. The multi-purpose room, the idea of that would be a wrestling room that is larger than the existing, that could house a full-size mat within it, along with more room for more kids to practice, but also could be used at other times with its access near the stage for any play production or anything that would be going on for staging the stage area. The gymatorium, the reason we're kind of looking at that, is calling it as that, is there's multiple setups. These are extended bleachers out, shown here on either side. This is a folded back bleacher that when pulled out would actually can come out, and basically the whole system moves out to wherever it needs to be, to where you can have seating on the gym floor. You can have bleacher style seating here. You'd still encompass the bleacher seating on the sides. This setup has all the bleachers pulled back to be able to provide full cross court and big open area for PE.
Just a quick question, weight room, comparing to the weight room that we have now.
The new weight room is double in size.
Okay, all right, thank you. Again, we apologize, you know, it's just out of our control. We'd like to have people
Yeah.
here and asking questions, and again, email me. I put the email and I'll share the email, my email out again. Share me, ask questions, and I will respond, and then I'll put a question answer together to share with everybody too, because just trying to get through this process has been interesting.
I'm not sure if this is visible. This darker line around the outside is the 50 by 30 that's kind of the standard stage size, which we're bigger than that. So we've got room for props and everything around the outside. If you can see, there's a gray line around this area right here, and that is actually the current stage. That would be from wall to wall, not just production area. But this would be wall to wall from right there to right here. So not only is the stage production area bigger, but then you have off stage area to bring, you know, people on and off as staging is going.
In between the elevator into the second story, giving us an ADA situation, because right now we're going through where we're moving classrooms to accommodate some situations, to the ramp on the stage. You know, that really makes us pretty friendly for
Yes.
the ADA.
Otherwise, to finish out, a rough west entry view of a couple shots of the building. Here's kind of a building from the back side showing the two-story elementary, the gymatorium area, then of course the playground area, and that would be it. Do you guys have any questions or?
Anything that you want to, would you go back to the activity center and let's look at the weight room and the wrestling and that multi-purpose room?
Yep. Let's go out of this. Let's go to this.
And then we might have, yeah.
You want to do the weight room first?
Well, either way, but the weight room is twice as big as what we have now.
The weight room is twice as big.
Okay, which is right now we're pretty cramped.
Yeah.
If you ask even students, and you know, we have kids that go out into the locker room to do some lifting with dumbbells and different things. So trying to alleviate that. And then that multi-purpose room, that kind of has grown into, cheerleaders being able to use it at different times. It'll, be environmentally controlled, and so different groups going in there, one act. But that room can be a pretty nice addition to just having extra things. In the rest of the existing wrestling room, if you can get over to the existing wrestling room.
Right there.
The existing wrestling room, we had it at one point. We talked about storage, but one of the things that have gained some momentum is we would look at turning that into our ag classroom, because when we first put this together, like he said, the Taj Mahal was bringing the shop down and including it into the building, but that was one of the things. It's like, the ag shop works, it's functional, we're okay, but one of the downfalls of our ag shop is our classroom. And that room is big enough that we could integrate a classroom and some low voltage, some plumbing, some electrical, and do some things within there, and yet probably still come up with a little bit of storage for different things in there as well, with the storage room and whatnot. But that would be one of the rooms that we recaptured and utilize it as a space. The weight room, the existing weight room that we have, that second level is where the conversation has been centered around turning that into our, what do I want to say, medical classes, or Nurse Patrick, the CNA, those types of classes, and turning that into our CNA area and letting the kids work in that area, which would fit into the training room. They could go do some, we can make that a very multifunctional room. So that's one of those discussions, and leaving everything else as it is. So we feel pretty good about the way that come together. So
Here's a couple views that you might have on yours. This would be kind of a typical high school science classroom layout, with the built-ins back here, and then of course movable desks up here and a teaching area up front. And then the elementary classrooms with moving cubicles into the classrooms versus in the hallways, and larger classrooms with sink and drinking fountain within the classrooms.
let's go back over to the science area.
Okay.
And let's just talk about how we got all the science. Because the way that ended up is we'd have all 3 science rooms just connected, well, back to back to back, so that would be our science area. And again, our school within a school, our art. And then we could have it set up. We have this one labeled over here CNA college kids, but we're having, we can end up putting it back over there in the old weight room, or with the existing weight room, I should put it that way. So anyway, and then scroll down to the present. This is the guidance, and then what is now the existing principal secretary office. We would turn that into kind of a guidance lounge, and they could have informational materials out on the inside, and then have a private room to work with kids individually. And in fact, if we need to, we could actually add a room back in there and turn that into the 2 rooms that it originally was, to do some things. And then the guidance room, the existing guidance room, would end up returning back. That historically had been a janitor's closet, and we would turn that back into a janitor closet because we're short in that area up there. And then fitting math and sped and getting everything worked together, so we feel like it would end up being a pretty good layout. Any other thoughts on that? Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Lee, and we'll I'll go. And now the part that everybody's really wanted to know, that reason we ended up shifting gears, because I'm going to shout out to Mr. Arneson. He come up with a plan, and that's why it's the late link. But he found a way to share some things within YouTube that we didn't know if we could or not. Do you have it up on your screen? Okay. I'm gonna kind of leave camera here because I didn't bring my. I guess I could pull it up on my computer. But anyway, go ahead and scroll through the first one, so everybody should be able to see this. So anyway, that's just generic information. There's my call the school anytime. I've been here through this whole ordeal with the pandemic, and so if you want to call and talk, please take the time to do that. I'm available, and I can be available anytime. Email me if I need to come over at a different time. I'd be happy to do that. To vote for it, you must be a resident of the district, and a resident. And so anyway, let's go ahead and go on to the next one. Here's the numbers. This is what everybody's really curious about. The total cost of the project's a $15.8 million project. The building fund that we have built up, and we have $1.5 million that we've dedicated to this project. And so the bond amount ended up being $14.3 million. And I've had some questions in the past about, will that leave not enough money when this is all said and done? We'll have over $400,000 to $500,000 left in the building fund, which gives us plenty of room to do things, because in case of a catastrophic event, insurance is going to kick in anyway, so we'll have plenty of room to do some things as we need to. And then so anyway, the levy impact of that $14.3 million is 12 cents, which is $120,000 on a $100,000 bond. The building fund would decrease to a penny. It's presently at 8 cents. And so the total levy impact would go from, everything stays the same, 83 cents to 88 cents. And it'd be a 25-year bond. Now, just to talk about the levy impact a little bit, valuation's staying the same. If valuations decrease, the asking doesn't change, but the levy would go up because we still have to get the tax asking that we're needing to cover that. So if valuations go down, the levy goes up. If the valuation goes up, which we know in this environment, we don't know what's going to happen. If valuation goes up, then the levy goes down. And so you go through that. And again, it's a 25-year bond. And in the scheme of things, when you look at 25 years, there's, you have peaks and valleys within 25 years, and there's good times and there's bad times, and you hope right now we're in a really bad time, I guess, to say it. But anyway, just because of everything going on in the world. Go ahead and scroll on to the next one. And just to look at a nickel on this, I threw this in there to add that. I know it's 12 cents. I know the total impact of the levy, but overall the scheme, it's a nickel impact. And so there's some numbers. On a $100,000 house, it's $50 annually. It'd be about 14 cents daily. Hopefully I got that all anyway. And then on $1 million, it's $500 annually, $41.67 monthly, with a $1.39 daily. So anyway, go ahead and go to the next one. Again, we're planning on, I'm in the office anytime, so if it works, just call me. I'm also planning on being in there next Monday from 6 to 6:45. So if you want a question, if it works better, again, or email me, call me. If you need to set up a different time to have a bigger discussion about it, please set me up. I try to be in the office between 7 and 7:30, and I'm usually here till 4:30, but I'd be happy to walk back over and take a phone call at 8 o'clock at night or 8:30 if I need to accommodate anybody that wants to talk. My original plan was to offer to come out and talk to groups, but I know that's not possible at the time. But if we want to set up a Zoom meeting with a group and have a conversation, I'd be willing to do that as well. April 27th, we're going to have another informational meeting at 7 p.m. I'm hoping that one will be a little bit more interactive. I'm hoping to get D.A. Davidson and get through some things. We're going to try to do that one Zoom as we continue to grow in this environment as far as what we can do electronically. And hopefully that I can tie in Mark Lewis from VD Construction, and also tie in Paul Grieger and Andy Forney from D.A. Davidson, so they can be available for questions and answers as well. Because it's just one of those things. BD Construction did the estimating on the project, and we're the ones that come up with the number. We knew that was a big component, and that's why we hadn't come out with a number sooner. Once we got the plans, and it's like, no, we need to go with it. We had BD Construction do the numbers because we knew that in the environment in the Panhandle where we're at, we also understood of some school districts in the area that had done some bonds and things didn't go well because they overspent the situation. And so we wanted to have a very solid number. We feel very comfortable with the number. Within that 15 point, within the 14.3, within the 15.8, there's some contingency money built in, and then we also have some money built in for just equipment and things that if we need to funnel, we can. And so we feel very comfortable with where we're at as far as total project goes. One of the other scenarios they hadn't talked about was one of the comments that had come up earlier was there was discussion about the heating and air in the elementary building. And I hadn't really addressed that per se, because as we remodel, as you notice, all those rooms are going to become double. And so as we go through that process, naturally some of that's going to take care of itself, because we're going to have to revamp some of the heating and air, different controls, and we're hoping maybe we can focus on that and get that to a situation that's more comfortable for everybody involved. Because right now there's hot spots. We just found out today that we had one of the heaters up in one of the rooms that Jim found out was causing problems. It sounded like it's been going on for a while, but neither one of us had been told about it. So that's a matter of communicating and getting communication done so people know. And every year we have teachers put in at the end of the year things that they want done to their room. One of the projects that we're looking at as we go is replacing windows in the admin building to make that a little bit more friendly as those windows. And some of the things at the elementary level, some of the window comments, and we've been talking. I talked to some groups, and I've got some things going there as far as getting some caulking, having people look at those as well. So we are working on some of those scenarios too. I didn't know how long this was going to take tonight, and again, email, call, however you want to get a hold of me. And I am I'm in the office, willing to take those phone calls anytime. Just to go through this is all new to us. I would much rather have everybody here, having conversations, asking questions, and this is the process we used for tonight. So bear with us as we work through this. Hopefully next Monday, but again, call me anytime, email me anytime. I think I have my info. If not, I'll make sure that I get it out to everybody and we go through that. I just wanted to finish up with a couple things. In 1970, the district attempted a bond to build the band room, the gym, and the cafeteria. The gym was finally built in 76, 77. And then the administrative buildings were built in the early 80s, mainly because the building that they were in ended up being condemned. The band room was added in the early 2000s, so 30 years later, everything that they tried to do at that time has become reality over time. And so the projects are done. I think people look at that and could imagine the school. Could you imagine the school without those projects? Historically, construction costs increase 4 to 5% a year historically. So you add that all in and you see where it's going. I talked about that. Again, how do you get to vote? Again, I kind of covered that a little bit. I think, or is there a slide on there that we can share? Did I leave that on there? But in Dawes, I know Dawes County is a mail. She told me that she's mail only ballots, and I know Box Butte, the mail-in ballots went out and are in people's hands from what I understand already. And that was the main thing. It was already on the ballot. We knew we needed to share some information. We knew we needed to get it out there in front of people, and the process is not exactly what we'd hoped for when this all changed. I would have never imagined that on March 5th, I'd be listening to the commissioner, and we'd have a meeting after that with the SU 13 soups, and we would close school for 2 weeks, and then when it's all said and done, we ended up closing for the remainder of the year. I would like to get back to some normalcy. I would rather have them in the building, and I hope you know that. Box Butte County, registration, in-person registration ends May 1st, and you can still go to the ballots. As far as I know, I don't think any of that's changed. I still think I know that, was it Wisconsin or somebody tried to suspend their election today, but somebody stepped in and they made them have them. So we'll see how that all ends up going. I know the governor's getting some pressure to do a stay put order because some people are thinking that we need to get people isolated more and try to stop the spread. But as you can tell by the Kimball situation and things going on around the area in Scotts Bluff, just be careful and take care of yourself. Again, just some information. Next Monday, April 13th, we have our regular board meeting. We're going to do that in a remote setting. Me and Mary will probably be the only two in the building. Everybody else will be at their homes. We're going to do that with a Zoom link. I'll be sharing that sooner than later. I'm hoping I'll get that set up and out by Thursday. And again, when you come into that meeting, if you join us for the board meeting, I'll have you muted, but all you have to do is click your mic, and we'll talk about that night. But again, the regular board meeting is going to be remotely performed, and I'll share my screen, and you can follow along on the Zoom meeting. Again, on April 27th, we're planning another community meeting, and we're hoping that one will be I'm planning on getting that set up and working, getting through the Zoom process so that I can share, so we can have the D.A. Davidson group, and we can have BD Construction involved and Lee involved, and so that we can have ask questions better and go through that. But any question that you send to me, I'll make sure I get forwarded to those guys if I need their help answering it. But I feel pretty comfortable that I should be able to answer most of the questions. Again, it's on the ballot. We knew we needed to get we put that factual mailing together to get to people so you had an idea so we could get this thing going, just so you were kind of an educated guess. As one patron told me, it's just, I'm not telling them to vote yes, I'm not telling them to vote no, I'm just telling them to get educated. And that's what I'm